Welcome, Super Souls, to the Moon Magic Tarot channel. Thank you for joining me. And today's reading, I'm seeing this card already. Today's reading is your weekly guidance from Spirit. I post these readings every single Sunday, and we are asking for any information about the circumstances of your world for the coming week. What do you need to know right now? What's going to be helpful to you? So we're going to draw 3 cards and a rune and a charm as well to help to guide you in. And I am actually seeing this card and this one. Now, Super Souls, I do list the cards that I use in the information box below for anyone that's interested. And I just wanted to add that these particular cards, these are not mainstream cards. They were made by a friend of my sister's. I know some people put links and they're getting like a commission when you click on those links. I don't do that. I don't have any investment in any of the cards that I use. But I just wanted you to know I will put a link for these cards, not because I have any gain from it, but because the only way you can actually access them is directly from the person who made them. So I will, for, you know, which is unusual, I don't normally put any links, but I will put the name of her website there for anyone who is interested in these cards. So let's have a little look and see what we are shown to help to guide you in. So we have Purvashada. Now the card is number 20. And we also have Venus and Jupiter here. Okay. This card is also known as the Invincible Star. So this is reading number 1. Reading number 2, we have the card of Ardra. Now this is associated with the nodes. And it is also the card number 6. And also known as the Moist One. Reading number 3, you have Maga. This is interesting. So we have the North Node and then the South Node. So 2 nodes showing up in our readings today. Very, very interesting, given that I'm doing these readings, although it's a timeless reading, I'm actually doing them bang in the middle of eclipse season. So things can happen very quickly. Lots of connections to destiny, you know, our karmic pathway. So very interesting we have these 2 cards. This is the number 10. We also have the Magnificent One, the Star of Power, showing up here. So I'm going to leave those just as they are for you. I think that's kind of straightish on the camera. Yay. And we'll draw runes and charms for those of you that need that information too. So reading number 1, you have the rune of fertility. Reading number 2, you have the rune of defense. And reading number 3, you have the rune of the South. Okay, let's have a look at our charms. Reading 1, you have the wing with a beautiful rose. Reading number 2, you have the sand dollar charm. And reading 3, you have the turtle. Beautiful little turtle. Okay, so Super Souls, I'm going to leave the camera running just for a few moments for anyone that needs a bit longer. The timestamps are in the information box below, along with all the other links that I put in there. And also I will put those into the comments as well, so it's easy to get to for phone users. Super Souls, take as long as you need. Trust your intuition. If you need to press the pause button for a little bit longer, or even if you have a specific question about the coming week, just press the pause button if you need to. Take as long as you like. It may be that more than one reading is speaking to you. That can often happen. Super Souls, I will see you in the readings. Welcome, reading number 1. You have been guided into this reading by the card Purvashada, and we have the Rune of Fertility. Now this is a very interesting combination because this is connected to Venus in Sagittarius. So there's a lot of joy, enthusiasm, energy coming through with this card. It's why we have the power to invigorate, the invincible star, exuberant joy, just do it, show off, going overboard. Very interesting with this fruit-bearing rune of fertility. So there's quite an experience of quite a lot of energy available to you, I think, this week. Perhaps very guided energy. Now, we need to draw a lot more cards, but I do want to also tune into one aspect of this card as well, because it does align beautifully with the Rune of Fertility. The Rune of Fertility requires sometimes completion of beginnings. It's almost like we're moving through something and beyond it, and that's associated with renewed vigour, and it's like we have to fertilise the ground for our own deliverance. And perhaps the shadow side of this card is also about learning from our mistakes, the recognition that if we're not learning, we can, because we're so excited and we're so exuberant and so just feel like we can master everything and do everything. If we don't learn from our mistakes, we can sort of plough into the same situations again. So there's that undertone with this card as well. But overall, this is looking unbelievably energized and positive for you right here and right now this week. So let's draw some cards and see what we are shown. We're asking for reading number 1, 2 cards coming through for you here, asking for cards for reading number 1 to know what's taking place for them, what they need to know about for this coming week, what information would be important for you to know about today, actually. Let's see what else we're going to do. I think we will draw from one of the tarot packs as well. Just one card showing here for the time being, though we will be doing more. We absolutely will be doing more. Right, I'm going to leave it just like that for right now. So first of all, we have 10 of Swords. This is amazing, isn't it? Because it's a completion. Something has run its course. Something has reached its final conclusion. Fabulous is what I want to say, because it means you are free to be energized and move forwards. I'm very struck by the way that this sword as well almost looks like a feather. It's like it does feel like something has reached its natural conclusion. It's run its course, it's over, it's been done, sorted. You're free to move ahead in some way. How very interesting. We have will, wisdom and the mind, and then we have fated meeting in reverse. This is very, very interesting to have these 2 cards together. Just going to place them there for the moment. Let's have a look at this one tarot card as well. We have justice. Okay, this is very clear, very, very clear already, but let's see what else we have here. We have the Temple and we have the Tear. Do you know, Super Souls, this reading could not be clearer at the moment, but we will also be asking how things are going to proceed. This is really stating something very, very, it's the successful completion or conclusion of something. For some of you, if you have come out of a difficult relationship, or an ending of a relationship, the fated meeting card is in reverse. If something, some aspect of a connection to someone else, it could be an intimate relationship, but it might not be. It could also be a business partnership, but there's a connection with someone that has come to its natural completion. Sometimes we have to process the aftermath. We have the card of the Tear. We have to grieve for the fact that something didn't work out, even if we're relieved that it didn't work out and we know it was completely the right thing. We still have to grieve for the fact that that didn't happen as we would have liked. And what I'm seeing here in your cards, what your spirit team are really validating and acknowledging, is This has now been properly processed. This is the week when it reaches its final stage of conclusion. Now that energy may be around you, but what's happening as you move into this space of conclusion, you are therefore free to move forwards. It sort of feels like you can come back into balance if this has demanded more headspace than you would have liked it to have taken. And I would venture to say more emotional space than you would have liked it to have taken. More physical space, you know, the temple. I feel like this is your body. Your body is your temple. We know from amazing books like The Body Keeps the Score that we hold the emotional residue of difficult stuff within the body. This is the point of release. It's the point of something reaching its conclusion. Super souls, if you find yourselves shedding a few tears this week, just shed. You know, release, cleanse, let go. This is the point when something reaches its conclusion. It is connected to another person. And this is the point when your balance returns and, most amazingly, you regain all of your energy again. Will, wisdom and mind. This is empowerment. This is self-empowerment. This is the invincible star. This is the exuberant joy. Just do it. Show off. Be you. Going overboard. Optimistic. You know, this, the shadow side, unrealistic, insensitive. But you know, the point is, I've spoken about that shadow side because that's about the learning. And it's really interesting that that came through very clearly. And what I see is you have done the learning. So if we think of that connection with that person, whether it was a work situation, a family member, a friend, you know, a partner, whatever that connection to a specific person, whatever that was, almost like karmically, there was an aspect of learning that even if it was a challenge that it brought you, you are now empowered. And this is the shift that's being shown here. This is so in alignment with the timing of this reading. Even though it's a timeless reading, you can tune in with these at any time, these readings. But I am actually doing this bang in the middle of eclipse season, which is where we often see these pivotal turning points. A doorway closing to the past, the learning done, and the doorway to the future opening, with you yourself being that point of power in the now. And that's what we're seeing here. I mean, look at this beautiful, literally, point of power in the now. Point of power in the now. And the energy returning, that completion here with the rune of fertility, and now entering a period of new revitalized fertility for you. This is really super lovely. I can see exactly that there is a turning point, a shift, and beautiful energy coming in, because I think you probably were previously. It was taking up a lot of emotional space, having an impact on your physical well-being, really coming through very strongly. Tired, debilitated, I think for some of you, just not feeling really 100% in any way, shape or form. This is like the return of your own energy to you. Beautiful happening, beautiful turning point. Let's draw more cards to see what else we're going to be shown, because I'd like to see, how is this panning out? What are you being offered? What are the potential choices? It may be for this week, it's a weekly reading. I post every Sunday, so it may be for this week, the sort of energetic soul work that, you know, that's happening for you is literally just embodying this transition fully, so that you move from a space of really still handling stuff to a space where you are just full of vitality again. So handling that transitional space, possibly still shedding a few more tears, but moving through that transition. So that may be the soul work in hand this week, but let's see what else we are shown. Reading number 1. I'm going with those. What else are we shown? 2 of Swords. We have your first card here. the death and the rebirth. Oh my goodness me, look at this. Look at this 9 of Cups. I mean, you could not be more empowered emotionally. This is emotional freedom. This is emotional liberation. You know, moving from that 2 of Swords space of conflict where you can't see the woods for the trees. You're really, it's really hard to know what's happening, where you're going, how best to do it. This is that point of, you know, there's a new dawn. You're moving from the shadows, we move into light. This is shown really clearly in the death and rebirth card here. And wow, look at this empowerment. What is super lovely here, we then have the 3 of Pentacles. Okay, we have the 3 of Pentacles and we also have the Page of Pentacles. These 3 cards are speaking in a really interesting way to me, because I do feel there's a connection to a specific somebody for you. And the 3 of Pentacles is about community. It's about friendship here, particularly this card in this pack. So I feel your team are kind of actually saying, look, you move to a position of empowerment. You may, if you had a major falling out, even be able to kind of, I don't know, agree to be friends. Not necessarily close friends, you know, if there's been a parting. I think there's several things that come through with this card. One of those potentials, this is a general reading, so your circumstances are going to be completely unique to you. Now, one of these potentials is that you sort of settle on at least a friendship. It's like you've put the conflict to rest. You know, you've received the validation you needed to be able to move on in some way, shape or form. That validation could also be coming from friends. If you've needed to walk away from a situation completely, or a situation ended, excuse me, in a way that, you know, there is no potential for that sort of ongoing connection with somebody, then actually your friends are totally walking with you at 1000%. They have your back and they are working with you to support you in literally manifesting. We're seeing manifestation taking place, a new phase of manifestation with the Page of Pentacles. Absolutely gorgeous. You are returning to a space of empowerment. So this is really the guidance for you, is very clear this week. The energy that supports you is navigating this transition where you process something and you come out the other side into a place of renewed energy, but you're getting help. And the help is coming either from validation from a friendship group or a community group, or people who just say, do you know what, we're totally with you, you're amazing, get to it, go for what you want, literally show off, just do it, get out there and be the person you want to be, dream about the stuff you want to have, you know. So there's all that kind of going on. Or the validation has come and you've settled some sort of difference. You agree to be who you are, and you are therefore free again to be your amazing self, to be the person you know that you are. There's some undertone here of validation coming through as well in the Justice card. You know, some undertone where you kind of know, I actually want to say, you know that what went wrong was not your fault, okay? And I think you've possibly conceptually known it, okay? I think you've understood that in your head, as it were, but I think your emotions were still tangled in those, in the way that sort of left you feeling sufficiently depleted to sort of almost have a little layer of self-doubt, or a little bubble of kind of self-doubt around it. So even though you kind of knew it wasn't your fault, you didn't actually do anything wrong, part of the learning for you has been to come through this with your self-esteem intact and not allow other people's issues. I'm not saying that the other person involved in whatever area of your world that is, I'm not saying that they set out to be an awful person or treat you badly. You know, some of them may have been very unconscious in the way that they navigated the stuff that took place. But what I am really seeing is that it brought you the lesson of just knowing, being able to come through something and remain intact. You don't have to be consumed by somebody else's issues. It's very easy for that to happen. We come away from a situation, especially if they're a bit of a naming, blaming, shaming type of person. They don't want to take an ownership of their part or to take responsibility. When we meet people who don't do that, then often the sort of the recipient of the challenge, which is you in this instance, is left feeling like, well, I must have done something wrong, or even that other person sort of almost sheds blame in your direction, or it's through their own defensiveness. But you're rising into your own power again, and it means that you are starting a new phase of manifestation. Super Souls, this is a really delightful reading for you this week. I feel very strongly I want to just draw one more card, almost like sort of like rubber stamping it in some way. And I'm actually going to use a really traditional pack. This is a Rider-Waite pack, but it's a giant Rider-Waite pack, as you can see, significantly large. Look at that. You know, the Three of Swords really acknowledges, you know, the two, for me, we're in conflict. We can't see the wood for the trees. We're not clear. You know, the crows here are unraveling. I mean, this is the karmic turning point of the energy that's around you, the eclipse season, and of you processing things. You know, the crows fly between the worlds, so they are able to assist us with transition. So the two is that point of conflict where we must do something about it, really. We have to process it. The three, for me, acknowledges the pain, but also the release of this, the shedding, the releasing, and therefore the potential for that. It's the ending of that conflict. It's that turning point. The conflict has happened. It's there. You fully experienced it. You no longer need to be dwelling in that. I'm actually going to draw one more. What delightful card to have, to really show us this turning point, this ending. And look what you have again now, 2 Page of Pentacles. What a reinforcement of this new phase of vitality. It's like, you know, the pages are so full of youthful energy, and the pentacles are about, you know, our health, our physical body. Your body is your temple, our ability to manifest stuff in the real world. 2 Pages of Pentacles. What a validation, and what a validation. You could not ask for better cards to confirm the ending and the turning point and a new phase of manifestation. Reading number 1, I am just sending you the biggest hug in the world. I can see a few more tears may still be shed, shears may be ted. Well, there we are. I think I've said enough, haven't I? But a few more tears may be shed this week. In that final processing, let them go, shed, release, cleanse. Everything is moving into a space of renewed vitality, expression, self-expression and empowerment that you can now start to take into your manifestations, because, you know, that soul work, that completion is happening. New phase of fertility. Gorgeous, heavenly, wonderful. Have an amazing week. Reading number 1. Don't forget to subscribe and press the little bell icon if you'd like to get notification of any of my readings as soon as I post them. I do, you know, usually around 2 or 3 pick a card readings a week, and I also post lots of little individual readings in between, which just are there to touch base if you're having a wobble and a reading pops up. If it's calling to you, check in with it. If it isn't, that's fine. They literally are sort of like everyday readings with a message from your spirit team right here and right now, just so that you can touch base. And I always really, really do believe the right readings will find the right people at the right time. Super Souls, tons of love. Super Souls, reading number 2, welcome. You have been guided to this reading by the Rune of Defense, the Sand Dollar Charm, and Ardra. This is with the North Node and it's a number 6. Now, this is a very interesting combination, particularly this rune and this card together, and even the charm. They are all speaking of some aspect of, I want to say, quite significant change. Freedom is a word that comes to mind. Freedom from something, because it sort of, I almost want to say, radically changes, alters. May not be radical, of course. This is a reading for right here, right now, this week. So we're going to see what your spirit team are letting us know about. But there is an energy here of quite significant transformation. You know, this card represents that transformation. Finding your purpose, finding aim, becoming curious, critical, but in a helpful manner, to be able to move, to cut away the old, to see the way forwards clearly. The Rune of Defense sometimes suggests that we need to be patient. It also suggests that there's something, it's kind of like we cease to be okay with things that don't resonate with us anymore, basically. So it sometimes suggests there's a need to, we develop an aversion to things that don't, it's like your vibe attracts your tribe. And if you grow and your tribe are still vibrating in one particular way or acting in a particular way, it's very much your vibe attracts your tribe. If that's not resonating with you, this card would suggest, as is this rune, a potential need to change. And the Sand Dollar does speak of strength, flexibility, freedom, choosing your own path particularly. So there's some really interesting stuff already coming through in the messages here. Let's draw more cards. We are asking for reading number 2, information about the coming week for them and what's going on right now and what your team wish you to really know about here. What is going to be helpful for you in terms of advice? May we have advice and information for reading number 2. Draw one more card for you. I am seeing this card actually, and actually that one too. Right, let's see what we have right now in your cards. Okay. Wow, you have the Mirror and you have the Mystic. Very, very powerful cards, given that we are really talking about transformation, and here we have a butterfly. Okay. Right, okay. This is so very interesting. I will say why in just one moment. We have the Fated Meeting card. So we have Guardian of Hearts. Okay. This is the equivalent of the Knight. I think the Guardians are the Knights in this pack. The Knight of Hearts. We have the card of Fated Meeting. I said this is interesting because this card came up in reading number 1, but it was in reverse. So very different meaning. Very, very different meaning. And the Queen of Scrolls. Wow. This is very, very interesting here. We have here... we have the Knight of Pentacles and the King of Cups. Now, I kind of want to hold these cards like this. That's my inclination. It's kind of how they fell out. They were neither upright or in reverse. This is the Tarot of Opposites. And it's very, very interesting because I feel that these cards, in some ways, they do connect to the light and the shadow side of the attributes of a card. But I also feel they talk about choices too. Now, this is very interesting because we have the Knight of Pentacles, we have the King of Cups. Let me pop these cards. I think we can get them all in view pretty much just about. Maybe we move things along just a teensy little bit. What we're seeing this week for you is we are seeing a meeting. Now, you may already have met this person, or you may actually be starting to reach out for this person. I'm seeing a meeting this week for you that is coming into your world. Now, for some of you, it could be love. For some of you, it could be connected to work. The Queen of Scrolls, you know, this could be somebody coming in. If we think that the kings, the knights, the queens, they're not really gender specific, okay? It's the energy of something. So, but it could connect to some of you in a working way, or it could connect to a love relationship. It could be, well, either way, this is a reading that connects to somebody coming into your world. I think you reach out to someone, and I think, or someone enters your world. It's the fated meeting card. The timing is really perfect here. And I do think something transpires this week from you reaching out. It's potentially incredibly transformational. Reading number 2, I do actually feel that you might even get an offer of something this week. But whatever comes in, I'd like you to take your time and consider the choices around it. Okay? Now, I need to draw more cards before I say any more. Well, there we are. Let's go with these. So we have Queen of Swords. Okay. 10 of Cups. This is good. Okay. This makes complete sense. This makes complete sense. 5 of Wands. We have the World card. We have the 7 of Pentacles. And then we have the 9 of Swords. I'm going to sit this just over here next to the card of the Mirror. So, actually, the really interesting thing here is I almost feel as though this week for you, it is absolutely an appointed time almost to have a connection with somebody. Now, whatever that connection is, that meeting point, it's coming in with real purpose. And it's going to be very life transformative, okay? We're seeing significant potential and significant change. Now, you really want something. Now, this could be connected to a working dream, or it could be connected to a personal dream, or it could be both, okay? But you you're actually very clear about, it's like the end goal. There's something you really want. This is, actually, I think I said the Guardian of Hearts was the Knight. I don't think it is. I think it is actually the King. The Guardians actually are the Kings. So we have the King of Cups, effectively. And we have another King of Cups here. This is something, I feel you will have a meeting that is going to be a turning point for you this week. We have the World. This turning point is very, very significant for you. You may reach out, or indeed someone may reach out to you. However it comes, trust your intuition and take your time, because you could even find you've got more than one offer. Okay, you could even find that there's more than one person. I'm fascinated by these 2 cards actually sitting here. I feel this could be speaking about 2 different areas of your life for some of you. So we're seeing the meeting of the fated meeting, the timing, the destiny card. And remember, we have the North Node here. So we've got this sort of sense of fate and destiny around your week here, something happening here. We've got the Knight of Pentacles offering you something. We have the King of Cups. Messages coming in here. And, you know, this card, Ardra, connects to also to Gemini, the sign of Gemini, and the planet of Mercury, the winged messenger of the gods. The guardian of hearts connects to Archangel Gabriel, who is also a messenger. So there's a lot of, I feel this is a week where there could be a lot of communications taking place. Possibly with this Five of Wands, this element of potential competition. Maybe there's more than, I feel that depending on what area of your life, it could be that there are two areas of your life that opportunities come into. There could also be two different people coming into your life, making you an offer, bringing you very different, and both of them will have a very different feel to them, okay? I think what we're going to do is draw some additional cards around each of these cards. It's like we're going to get some clarification on each of these cards with another tarot pack to see what we are shown. It's really, really interesting to me that they have both shown up, and I wanted to put them immediately into this kind of layout where it shows that we have choices here. So I feel that there are potential communications taking place this week in your world. They connect to something that you really, really want and desire. You may actually struggle a bit with the decision making around this. The information here that your spirit team are really saying to you is look, these decisions are important because this is something that's going to grow. These decisions relate to something that will literally bring change, significant change into your world, and it will be something that can grow and grow and grow. So whether this is personal or it's work orientated or whatever aspect of your world this is, it's a general reading, so it's going to be unique to you. I'm seeing a lot of communications taking place, guided, fated, at the right moment in time, decisions, and I'm mulling over, rather than worrying. You know, this lovely combination of these cards, the mirror. I think rather than worrying about it, that Nine of Swords energy, because it is transformative, there are big decisions going on here. So rather than worry, take your time. Listen to your intuition. You're given the guidance here with the card of the Mystic. Trust your intuition, but allow yourself enough gentle space, reflection, opportunity to get still, to be able to process how this really feels, okay? You know, don't go with the best offer first. It's really that feeling of, you know, something could be presenting as one thing. Really, really important that you listen to what it feels like. You review from both the heart and the mind, okay? Because you know what you want. This is a pathway. Whatever's happening, it's very positive because the communications are opening a pathway that's taking you to a point where the timing is perfect for something that will lead you towards, you know, really your ultimate dreams, your pathway of happiness, something you really want. And the world is going to open up here, but there are choices. There may be more than one person coming in or more than one area of your world. I think what we're going to do, reading number 2, is take these 2 cards. Here we go. We're just going to place them here and we're going to draw clarifying cards around these 2. What we are being shown wholeheartedly is absolute opportunity, communications, using the information in communications to make clear choices about what resonates with you and what doesn't. So if something comes into your world and you think actually this doesn't feel good, or you thought that something was going to be good and it doesn't, it's a communication. It's telling you that to make clear choices that reflect who you are, choices that reflect the very nature of you, your own entitlement for you to be you. for you to sing your own song. So I'm going to get a different tarot pack out, and we are going to draw cards for clarification around both of these, and possibly even an oracle pack as well. So may we ask for information about the King of Cups and also the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, let's have a look and see what we have for both of these cards. So for the King of Cups, okay, we have the Sun, good. We have the card of Judgment. How can we lay these out so we can see them all? That's okay. We have Strength and we have the Nine of Swords. Okay. So I want to say one of the connections that you may have, it could be a love interest. You know, we've said potentially love or money, you know, personal or finances, that kind of area, those areas, or two different offers. One way or the other, though, this is somebody who has quite a lot of power. You know, they're quite this is quite a significant, a strong person. There's leadership there. What is really interesting, I'm going to say that what they present, even though they show up and they look very good on paper, I'm not actually sure that they necessarily look at their motivation. Look at the motivation and the intent. Now, it's always a challenge to voice things, you know, readings. It's really important that as a reader, for any of us who, and I know many of you are really experienced readers yourselves, as you know, we must always look at what we are being shown here and voice it. I want to say that somebody who comes across very well, you know, they're quite bright, they're quite they're very bright, they're very they have leadership qualities. I would like you to check out what's going on beneath the surface. Take your time here. It doesn't mean they won't be right, but this requires the offer, the connection to this person, or what comes with them. The circumstances around them need to be evaluated. And there is a need for you to really listen to your intuition and assess exactly what's going on under the surface. You know, then we have the Knight of Pentacles. So this is a kind of a younger energy, a bit more vibrant, less mature, less established. Now, this could be love and intimacy, but we could have two different choices here that are indicated. There's a, you know, this element of competition. There may be more than one direction to go in. Now this is very interesting. So Knight of Pentacles, so whoever this is and whatever area of your life this connects to. We have the Hanged Man, we have the Empress, we have, oh my goodness me, talk about significantly big cards, Super Souls. I mean, just wow, we're so into the major arcana here. So we have the Hanged Man, we have the Empress, and we have the Chariot. Is that still? Let me move those over with this card, just so we've got that. Then we have the Hanged Man, we have the Empress, and we have the Chariot. We have the High Priestess, and we have the Six of Wands. Okay, super. Right. Now, if two people and you're faced with a choice, I'm actually going to say to you, I think, curiously enough, the one that presents really well and looks more established, I'm not actually sure that that's the better option if you are faced with two choices. This is somebody who has a younger energy, they're less established, but they're much more involved in the transition that is needed for you. They're willing to nurture something and to invest in it and move it forwards. Again, trusting your intuition, I would say that this is your better bet. It's really interesting. This may look good on paper, but this is your better bet. Whatever this fated meeting is about, whatever the communications are, I'm venturing to say, whether it's love or money, I do feel you may have more than one choice. And I do want to say that the less, I say younger, this is not about age and stage, it's about sort of, it's about age and stage of being established in some way, shape and form. You know, this person may not be a leader, you know, as yet. If this is a work connection, for example, if you've got more than one offer, and one appears to be for a less well-established company, interestingly enough, the less well-established company looks better actually in these cards. So we are looking at a very different kind of energy with somebody who holds a greater position of leadership and certainly looks to be quite charismatic. But I think ultimately it may actually prove to be quite hard work, really. Whereas this younger energy, still very dynamic, it doesn't mean they're young in age, but there's somebody coming in who's possibly less charismatic, but more solid, more earthy. More earthy, more solid, more steady, but actually very dynamic in their own way. This is somebody who I think is potentially worth investing in. What they're offering to you, I think, will open up choices for you. Whereas I think with this person, it's potentially a little bit more narcissistic. You know, the outcome, the end goal is about ultimately seeing what you could give to them, rather than, in this instance, this would be a much greater potential for collaboration. It's sort of that difference here. We've got that Five of Wands energy here, that difference between competitiveness, striving to get to the top of the ladder, versus collaboration, you know, where we can achieve because we work together. I'm seeing the younger type of energy, the more earthy type of energy, bringing something that's going to happen much more quickly. So if this is a choice in love, I think you maybe have more than one suitor. These cards are not gender specific. I think if you have, if it's a work situation, you may have choices here. Either way, we're seeing a lot of communication this week, a lot of potential for a significant meeting that will lead something forwards. I mean, the Queen of Scrolls is a beautiful card in terms of the potential for something to move forwards, you know, a deal to be made that will be successful. So these two cards in themselves are telling us so much, along with, you know, the Guardian of Hearts here associated with Archangel Gabriel. So I think this is a very significant week for you, reading number 2. Take your time to reflect. Don't worry about the choice. Take your time, read the small print, look at what's going on beneath the surface. You have the capacity to use your intuition and really tune into that. If you look at something, and remember, if it doesn't resonate with you, then it's not really going to be the right one for you. Super souls, yeah. Strength, flexibility, freedom, choosing your own path. There is such clear messages for you this week. This feels like a really significant week for you. Really significant. Super souls, check out, if you do find you're having a wobble, do check out my Timeless Readings playlist. There are lots of readings in there that answer specific questions, such as, is this person trustworthy? How will this pan out? Is this a yes or a no? Just check out those extra readings if you find that you have a wobble, you know, the Timeless Readings playlist, or just tune into the home channel, the Moon Magic Tarot channel, and click on the videos and scroll down. You'll find a video that's right for you. They're there as a resource to help you at every stage of your journey, your soul's evolution, and to navigate life through these choices and changes that we need to make as we move forwards and transition with you guys into the very best version of you. I mean, it's really clear here. Super souls, don't forget to subscribe and press the little bell icon so you get notification of every reading as I post it. I post these every Sunday, and I post also lots of small readings as well. I do 3 pick a card readings on average every week, and I also do little small ones in between. They're single readings, but they're kind of short, sweet, to the point. What do I need to tune in with right now? And I always think we find the right reading at the right time. So if you've hit the bell icon and subscribed, hopefully they'll pop up. And if you're having a moment, that may well be the reading for you. Super souls, I am sending you all the love in the world. You know, comment as you go through the week and let me know, because this is an exciting happening for you. It's so fated, karmic, everything here is pointing to that. But also Gemini energy, Mercury energy. Evaluate, look at it from all sides, you know, evaluate with clarity so that you know you're orientating to the choice that is right for you. Super souls, have an amazing week. Tons of love. Welcome, reading number 3. You have been guided to this reading by the card number 10, Marga, and the rune of the self, and also this beautiful little turtle charm here. Now this is very interesting because the rune of the self speaks of almost like an upgrade of you, and this is also a very powerful card, very centered on you personally. I would venture to say a card of potential success, being able to be you and know that you're you, to be successful smoothly in some way, shape or form. I'm not going to say any more because this is a weekly reading, so let's look and see what our other cards are going to show for the information that's around you for this week. I'm actually seeing 2 cards here. Let's also draw from the Akashic Tarot as well. Do you know, I'm seeing this card very strongly peeking out to us. And I think we will draw some of our tarot cards too and see what we have. Do you know, I'm taking all of those. Okay, in fact, one more. One more from this pack too. Okay, let us have a look. I'm going to pop these to one side first and let's have a look and see what we have. So you have the Mentor and you have the Mystic. Wow, look at the colouring and the opening up. Now this is really connecting in with the energy of the self, which is also, can you see, everything feels like it's very balanced. Things are opening. We can see there is a balance, a clear vision. I feel like you are in a position to see very clearly both what's going on outside and also your own internal growth. Like there's a relationship between the two. Look at this, the power to leave the body, the Magnificent One. This is the South Node. It is an interesting card because this card speaks about someone who is connected to the knowledge and the wisdom of the ancestors, the knowledge and the wisdom that comes from past lives that are still coming through with you. Now let's have a look and see what our other cards are showing. So we have the Seeker of Wands and we have Hansel and Gretel. Gosh, the imagery in this reading already is striking. Reading number 3. Just feel like this is almost like a rainbow over you. We have a rainbow balloon here, and this is, I often confuse this card, and I know in previous readings when it's come up I've referred to it as the Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, but it is not. It's the Wizard of Oz, and this is Dorothy finding her way home. And it's really interesting. Look at this. We have Hansel and Gretel, who also have to find their way through something. Okay, they have to find their way through. They come to the gingerbread house. There are challenges that they're overcoming. But with Dorothy here, she reaches a point where she's been trying to find her way home, and she's been on this incredible journey. And actually, she suddenly realizes that the very thing she needed, or she's given the gift of knowing that the very thing she needed all along was right there. They were the ruby slippers. She had them on her feet all along. Despite this incredible journey, she always had the power to change something. All she had to do was to click her heels and ask to go home, and she would magically be transported. Now, this is very interesting. We have two cards here, both in reverse. We have setting your course and on track. I'm going to place these here. Now, I think it's very, very interesting that these are in reverse. And then we have the Five of Cups. Beautiful card here. And I'd like us just to look at both sides of this card. This is the Tarot of Opposites. It looks at both the light and the dark. I often see it as a card of choice, actually, or cards of choice, because they kind of show us, you know, do we feel despondent? Do we feel unable to move forwards? Or are we looking at life positively, stopping to smell the roses, recognizing that if there is a delay in something, if something isn't moving forwards as we would like, you know, do we get despondent, or do we stop and literally smell the flowers along the way? I feel for you reading number 3. Now, this is a weekly reading, so we're looking at information that your spirit team and your guides are bringing you for right here and right now, and for the coming week. I feel as though this week, I want to say that I think you are on track, okay? I think you are on track, and I think you are moving in the direction that you want to go in some way, shape or form. But I think that this week something may happen that may cause you to slow down a little bit, that may cause you to need to take a slightly windier pathway. But it's kind of like stopping and smelling the roses. Let's get more information. We need to get more information. Now, this is interesting. Look, we have Five of Cups, Five of Cups. Very, very interesting. We then have, oh, this is absolutely super lovely. I want to say something might be landing in your world. In fact, possibly, I suspect something's already around you that maybe, I think you have a clear view of it. Okay, I think you have a clear perspective of this. For most of you, I think it is around you. You can actually, there's something in your world, something on your pathway, something in your plans right here and right now, or something that is planned during the coming week. And I think you're reticent about it, or something isn't feeling quite right. It's really interesting. I feel like you actually know what it is. It's like doing something that isn't quite resonating with you, or doing something. Maybe you've arranged to go out with a group of people, but they're not quite, it's not quite feeling right. And it's really interesting. It may even be that it's something you tried and it hasn't, it's not really seemingly working out for you. It's not what you thought it would be, or maybe better to say what you hoped it would be. It was quite enticing. There was an idea of something or a picture of something. And I think you approached it with confidence. And to be fair, if this hasn't happened and it's not around you, I think many of you will know what this is. I mean, these are very sort of here and now in the moment. You know, this is the week ahead kind of stuff. But it's kind of basically getting you down. I think because it didn't work out to be kind of what you wanted, almost as if you had set your sights on it here, And then ultimately you sort of discovered through the doing of it that it didn't really resonate with you. Now you do have a choice here, because you could get a bit down in the dumps, you could get a bit gloomy, but the reality is, I think you are very, very capable of seeing this situation for what it is. I think you can see what works for you and what doesn't. And I actually do think there is a need to, it's not so much reset your course. It's not that you're not on track in what you're looking for. It's more that you need to find a slightly different solution, or a more, how can I voice it? It's a bit like, I don't know, let's say, I'm going to probably come up with the most silly examples, but it's like if you were, let's say your passion is, I don't know, pizza or something, and you try out a pizza place and you really didn't enjoy it. Or you've gone to, you join a writing group and you go and it just doesn't resonate with you, you know, that you just didn't gel. And it's not that there's anything wrong with that group of people. It's just that they're not quite, it's not quite right for you. Maybe it's a style of writing, or a format of the evening that maybe perhaps you wanted something that would be a free-flowing creative space, and actually they take a very structured approach, which for some people is perfect. Perhaps you go to something and it's a very creative, free, open space, and you wanted something more structured. It feels like it's not a wrong or a right here as such, but more that there's like a trying, you've needed to try something. And in principle, if we stay with that example, it's better than the pizza one anyway, I think. But if you stay with the example of the writing group, you're on track with wanting to join a writing group. That's right for you, and your team are sort of saying, look, you are ready to fly. Oh, another really interesting message coming through here. I'll voice it in a second. But you're ready to fly at this. You need to find the right style of writing group for you, okay? It's got something, so it's not that you are needing to hugely reset your course. It's not like it's a serious about turn this week. That's not what's happening. But there is a need to recognize, because you have the choice here, there is a need to recognize that, you know, you could get down in the dumps about this, or you can really, really clearly see which bit isn't working for you and choose to tweak. It's more like a course correct, okay, than it's not a changing direction. It's a course correcting in terms of the definition of the thing that you really want to do, or that you're hoping to do. And you do have the choice. You can literally find your way home. You can find your way to the thing you wanted. And I'm loving the cards that we're seeing here, because we then have the Three of Wands following the Five of Cups. We have the Sun. We have the High Priestess. So we're seeing here an opportunity for you to really listen, the mystic. Listen to your experiences as a form of guidance. Now, the message that was coming through here, which is very, very interesting, and I think it connects to these cards here as well, the Judgment card and the Justice card, because Hansel and Gretel kind of got lured into the forest, or they end up basically coming across what looks to be a nice situation, and it's not one. You know, the gingerbread house in the forest. I think that's how the story goes. But either way, what we're looking at here is, I do feel that there could be an element of perhaps the indecision around you, whereby it's almost like you're still hoping that something will kind of resonate, or you might even try to fit with it rather than making a choice to do the thing you really want, or to finding the right style, the right format, the right something for you. I think this week is an opportunity for you to take an absolute ownership of what is resonating. You see, and this is the aspect of that other message. You see, I think whatever this is, I think you're ready to fly. You're good at it. Okay? You're absolutely brilliant at it. I think you know what you want, and I think part of the trial of a setting, you know, maybe you've gone into, I'm going to just use the example of that group, but you've gone into something and, you know, maybe because you are actually quite self-assured in this particular area, you know, you are rightly confident in it because you've worked at it to build it for yourself. We have the Page of Pentacles. You've manifested this. You've worked at it. And I feel that the Justice and the Judgment, I do feel that you've worked at this, and you may have entered an environment where people are, you know, you're wanting to connect with a like-minded tribe, let's put it in those terms, whatever this is in the uniqueness of your world. And what you might do is you might find you've come into something and there's a sort of competitiveness going on in some way, shape or form. Maybe you're coming in with a kind of an abundance of energy ready to make a contribution, and maybe your contribution hasn't quite been well received. There's a sort of a competitiveness going on between, you know, sometimes groups can be a bit competitive, or if you come into something and you're new, people can, you know, they may welcome you with open arms, but sometimes they don't welcome people with open arms, especially if you're actually quite good at it already and you're looking for your tribe, you're looking for a connection in some way, shape or form. You're on track, but the environment of something you're entering or have entered is not in alignment with you being on track. So there is a need for you to actually assess this for what it really is, okay? And to view it with clarity, not despondency, but clarity, and then to make a very clear personal choice. Because this Judgment card is about you rising, you know, not remaining in something that could feel, I would venture to say, judgmental. For some of you, you may even have entered an environment or joined a group of people and you suddenly feel quite judged, quite criticised because your style isn't quite the same as their style, rather than valued as the unique individual and the contribution you're making. You're being judged, you're being maybe overly criticised. What's really interesting is I actually think with these two cards, the Mentor and the Mystic, that you know that. Do you know, some of you may even have been looking for a mentor, actually, for somebody for guidance, and you've kind of come into the environment and realised that you actually know quite a lot about this subject already, and the person you've approached is almost threatened by your abilities already. You know, there is something around this flavour here. It's so funny, I'm sitting here doing this reading. I always draw on what shows up when I do our readings, and on my bird table right outside my window, these two pigeons are both really stropping up with one another, like they're really standing on their little legs, and neither of them want to back down. It's really interesting. And I'm just really tuning in with this card: power, status, ancestors, ambition, pride, vanity, royalty. You know, the Star of Power. I actually think you know your stuff in some area, some arena, some situation. You know what you're talking about, and I think you've come up against this competitiveness where, and I always think if you seek a teacher or a mentor, you know, the best teachers, the best mentors are people who feel blown away when their students become even better than they are. But teachers who need a student always to be sort of beneath them or kept in their place, that's not a great teacher, really, the essence of things. And there's something of this sort of flavour. And your spirit team are actually being really clear here with you. What they're actually saying to you is, don't get tangled into any kind of competitiveness. You know your stuff, you know what you want. Don't linger. if it's not, if this isn't feeling right for you, or indeed if somebody's come to you, maybe you are a teacher and somebody really doesn't want to actually learn, you know, you have the power to change this. You have the power to go to where you want to go to. It feels like it's more the other way around because of the turtle energy here. This is you creating something. So I feel this week for you, and this is something that's very personal to you. Okay, there's something that you're good at, and you are somehow engaged in an environment where this is not being either appreciated, recognized, or there's an inappropriate competitiveness which has stopped you or is stopping you or holding you back from being able to contribute fully, to present yourself fully, to extend yourself fully. Almost as if, yes, there is an appearance of something, but it hasn't quite delivered. And your team are saying to you, look, you can get tangled into despondency here and feel let down or hurt by the attitudes you're meeting. Or alternatively, you can evaluate this for what it is. You see it really clearly. You know, you are a seer. I always think the mystic, this is a card of a seer. You can see it really clearly and you can choose what you're going to do about it. Make a decision to actually, it's not even change course, it's to hold your own course, but alter the environment in which you are looking to fulfill that. There is something here where you can make a decision. You have the power. Butterfly here, butterfly here. You have the power. It's like click, click of your heels and off you fly away home. Really, really, really lovely energy. And it's like the answers are yours. Step into your power and actively make a decision about this. You can see it really, really clearly. If you have any element of indecision around this, then take the time to evaluate, use your intuition, take the time to evaluate and listen to what you're being shown, not as something to get you down, not as somebody else's criticism or judgment of you, but as an opportunity for you to make the right choice for you and to just ultimately sort of quietly walk off and do what you need to do somewhere else. I'm going to do a little bit of energy clearing and energy shifting in this reading, which I do every now and then. If you're new to me and my readings, you may not have seen this before. But we're going to turn these cards, we're going to shift the energy of these cards. It's like giving you permission to act upon the information that your guides are giving you this week, your team, your spirit team. So I'm going to bring in, isn't it interesting that actually what I have here is raw Amazonite. And, you know, Amazonite, I sort of feel it's almost like that sort of Amazon energy, you know, like the strength of the Amazon warriors coming in here, which also aligns beautifully with Marga, because this is a card that says, look, you know, you have your ancestors behind you, you have knowledge, you have wisdom, you have power here. You can knowingly make choices and you can do so smoothly. So we'll use this Amazonite. Okay, so what I would ask you to do, Super Souls, just sit and focus on where the cards are right now and just listen and feel into your body and allow yourself to kind of view the situation that is relevant to you. If for some reason it hasn't happened yet, then you might want to sort of bookmark the page and come back to this reading later in the week if something then shows up that resonates with exactly this, because this is a reading for the coming week. Many of you, I think, already know what this is about. So just center yourself. It's kind of almost like I'd like you to center yourself in your physical body. Feel where things are sitting, you know, any kind of emotions that are held in the body that are telling you something. I mean, when we talk, there's loads of sayings that actually tell us stuff about where we hold emotions in the body. And if we're holding something in the body, it's because we haven't acted on it. Emotions really should be fluid. And, you know, if you think of an emotion as energy in motion, it's there to inform us. We act upon it, it's released, and it gives us the energy to move forwards. So listen to your body. Sayings like someone is a pain in the neck, you might find you have tension in your neck. If it's gut-wrenching, then something is really, it's in your gut eating away at you in some way, shape or form. If your shoulders are aching, we often say, people carry the weight of the world on their shoulders, or somebody that's spineless, for example. You are far from that I can tell you. But if your spine is affected, your shoulders are affected, think about what has been coming in connection to this, what have your emotions at a very subtle but quite powerful level been telling you about within your body. Hold those emotions, see them there, and I'd like you to really take in just a moment. I'm going to ask you to take in a very deep breath and center that breath around the energy in your body. So I'll give you just a moment to do that. So we're locating those emotions, those feelings in the body. And now I would like you to kind of allow yourself to rise up, okay, to rise above those emotions, because this reading is all about you rising above and really validate your own right and entitlement to make a choice here. You see it clearly, you know it's not working for you, okay? And this is your choice, this is you. It's your choice to create and bring into being the stuff you want. Okay, now I'm going to bring in the Amazonite, okay? I really want to empower these 3 cards. So this is you have the right, okay, to be creating the world you want. In fact, I'm going to move this card, in fact. So I'd like you to assess, weigh things up, listen to those emotions. You have the right to manifest what is right for you. You don't have to be swayed by somebody else's way of doing things. This is a time for you to rise into what is right for you, to make that decision, to make that choice. And with this energy flowing this way, we're going to shift these cards because you are actually already on track. That is what your team are saying. And it's now time to set your course. And your course is not a change of direction. You're on track. It is a change of the space, the environment, the people, the connections where you can manifest, feel at home, come home to yourself. It's the place you're setting course, you're course correcting, you're finding what you need that upholds the fact that you are on track and celebrates your success, your empowerment, your potential. Breathe this in, focus on wherever it is in your body and breathe it out as you move into the energy of these cards here in the upright position. In fact, what I'm actually going to do, I'd say do this potentially 4 times. Breathe in and release. Breathe in again and release. And as we take in the last breath, breathe in again. And as we release, we are bringing you back to being on track, the rune of the self. And as you breathe out, we are bringing you back to being on track, resetting your course, searching, seeking, looking for exactly the right environment in which the gifts that are so apparent in you can be wholeheartedly celebrated, understood, supported, valued. This is the way forward. Super Souls, I'm going to draw just a couple more cards from one other pack, just because I'd like to see almost like where you go from here, even though that's kind of another reading. But this is a this week reading. Let's have a little look here. Beautiful. We have the 8 of Discs and the King of Cups. Super nice cards, absolutely beautiful to finish off your reading number 3. 8 of Discs, you will find the right environment. You will find the right mentor, you will find the right mentorship. There's something you're wanting to, almost like, because you're good at something already, you're looking to enhance the gifts and the skills you've already developed. You're wanting to take them even further. You're needing support to do that, you know, or even to bring those gifts into the world, to manifest them. That opportunity will come. Knight of Cups, and it will come and it will move forwards, and you will find someone who is going to be able to help you in a balanced way, someone who will love and support what you're doing. So we see this is happening once this energy is cleared. It's really a choice to let go, in a sense, or to kind of say no to something that you thought was right but kind of isn't quite. Super Souls, reading number 3. You are magnificent. I need to say that. This energy is delightful. And I'm sorry this didn't kind of work out, but you know, hey, that's life. Sometimes you've got to try things on for size and gain from the experience and move along. Super Souls, tons and tons of love. I mean, what more can I say? We have every opportunity arising for you. We're seeing a really favourable outcome, you know, and it's just a question of finding exactly what is right for you in whatever area of your personal world this is. You know, it's unique to you. It's a general reading. Super Souls, this is your reading for this week. I post these readings every single Sunday. I post a couple of others, usually 3 in total, sometimes more, but usually 3 pick a card readings answering specific questions during the week, and also very small individual tiny ones now, which are single readings. But if you subscribe and press the little bell icon, don't forget to do that if you want to get a notification of every reading as I post it. When the little small ones pop up, you know, they really are there for, I truly believe every reading just finds the right people, and the right people find the right reading. So if a reading pops up, it could be giving you just the anchor you need, or the piece of advice you need in that very moment. So do watch out for those. Subscribe, press the little bell icon if that's kind of happening for you and you'd like to get notification. I also post moon updates and various other things. I will put all the relevant links to all sorts of things that I do in the information box below for you, along with the timestamps as well. And Super Souls, have an amazing week. You guys are seriously on track. You're just needing to find exactly the right sort of, yeah, it's like the right car to drive, it's like the right coat to wear, it's the right club to join, the right whatever it is. You just need to get that one absolutely right, because you have so much to give and it's beautiful. Reading number 3, have an amazing week, and I look forward to seeing you in some other readings soon.